Hello and welcome to Pickelhaube Gaming. I'm your host Frank Topham, and today we'll be looking at something that I hold very dear to me because it's something I use not on a daily basis, but something I use very often. That is RPG Maker, and today we'll be reviewing their latest release, RPG Maker MV. RPG Maker is a long, storied series of easy-to-use, hard-to-master game development engines made for the explicit use to make JRPG games, though there are exceptions. This series has lasted for many years, jumping from one developer to the next like a hot potato that no one is keen on having for the long term. RPG Maker MZ is the latest in this series. The program is simple to understand with the complex programming bits already done for you. All you need is a plot and a basic understanding of level design to get going. The program is split into 3 sections, the main screen being the level editor from which you'll build your maps such as towns and dungeons. The next is the database where you make your player characters, enemies, items, equipment, and other details. Then there's the plugin screen where you, manage your plugins, of course. The engine features a new tile layering system and a more streamlined design and feel than the previous version, that being MV. There's a new battle system, so I hope you like bootleg ATB. However, as far as new important features are concerned, there isn't much. There is a new animation system for magic and skills, as well as an enhanced character generator. The aesthetics of the engine is pretty much the same as MV, and it doesn't feel any different. Yeah, that's just MV with extra steps. RPG Maker MZ is literally just if MV got a rebuild. Comparing the two is like comparing the difference between the LNER A1 and A3 class locomotives. Yeah, they're different on the inside, but they're basically the same in terms of general qualities. MZ doesn't feel like it's its own engine. It just feels like a rebuild of MV with some extra bells and whistles. Like how RPG Maker VX feels distinct from XP, which is distinct from 2000, which is distinct to MV. MZ doesn't feel like its own engine. And you'll know this if you've previously used MV. In fact, this is a common problem everyone has had with this engine, with some saying it was unnecessary, and that all of this could have been added to MV with updates, to which I say no, because of all the streamlining and performance upgrades made to MZ. MZ feels like 1 step forward, 2 steps to the side, which is stupid. If the difference between VX Ace to MV is like the Great Leap Forward, then MZ feels like a singular skip sideways. So what is the price of this glorious program? I'm gonna let you guess, viewers, how much it costs. I'm gonna leave you alone for a second so you can look it up, or perhaps, you know what, don't look it up. Just guess how expensive MZ is. Alright? Are you all set? Good. The price of RPG Maker MZ is $79.99, which also happens to be the price of MV, which is strange considering that MZ is supposed to be the better, more advanced product with more assets and with new, better features, which says to me that Pickelhaube, the company that made this RPG Maker product, isn't too sure of themselves, or they just don't have the full confidence behind this product to perform better or be viewed more professionally than others, especially considering that the damn thing is the same price as MV. Which brings us to assets, and MZ is advertised with having the most assets out of the box, which frankly I don't find to be the case. In fact, the graphics for People 1 and SF People 1 are just recolors. The Battler graphics are good and has a variety completely different from MV, but are missing slimes, bats, and other enemy types, which I had to import from MV into MZ. The default music selection is god-awful. I feel like what makes a good RPG Maker soundtrack is the ability for one song to accompany many different scenarios, like having a song that could describe an adventurous theme, could also be used for an intense cutscene, or a nostalgic sounding song that could be also used for a sad situation, and so on and so forth. RPG Maker MZ's default soundtrack is so modern sounding in its instrumentation that only certain songs work in a singular context. MV's soundtrack is so modern and electronic sounding, it's like if Skrillex made the music for Persona 5 on the budget of a Big Mac. The music is no good for high fantasy, and the reason why my games, A Postmortem Nation, and Crystal Gazers use music different from MZ's. There are actually less parts in the character generator than there are in MV. I usually rate the quality of RPG Maker's character generator on how many historical figures and Doe characters I can create. If I can't make Abraham Lincoln or Reimu Hakurai, then we have problems. Also, why on earth are there so many useless eye graphics? Also, let's talk art style. I like the art style with its manga-esque sketched out look, and I know some people are triggered by this because of the downhill sliding quality of the art style in RPG Maker. So my brother tells me to quit using RPG Maker and instead use something more professional like CryEngine or Unity, to which I say to him the same thing that one American commander said to that one German commander. Nuts to you, fucko! But this brings up a good point. Is RPG Maker professional?
No.
RPG Maker is that one engine everyone uses for their dumb Undertale fan games that they slap on GameJolt, or for those who think Game Maker is too intimidating. Think about it. When was the last time you purchased an RPG Maker game from Steam, or better yet, have seen one for $60? If you say none, then get out of here, you Frenchman, you. But yes, you're right. No mainstream big-name studio uses RPG Maker for their games. RPG Maker, due to its price point, if used professionally, usually is a sign that you don't have a lot of money or don't have access to even a decent amount of resources. Which is why I'm against Yanflay putting up prices on plugins. It's not because I want everything to be free because I'm a damn dirty communist who should be dragged from the street by a Ford Raptor. It's because when you put a price on assets and bits for game development, it means it's for professional use, which conflicts with the fact that most people use RPG Maker games for their free fan games, as in, they have no budget, they make no cash. This Kong has a funny face. Also, they have a TOS in which you have to purchase Yanflay Visistella plugins for each and every team member working on your RPG Maker game. For example, if I have 5 people working on a fan-made RPG Maker MZ game based on Earthbound, say I'm making Mother 4, I have to pay 5 more times for one or multiple plugins for 5 people. I can't start a Kickstarter on a Mother game or sell it a price to make the money back because Nintendo's lawyers will be so angry I'll have to go to the Mayo Clinic to get them off my ass. I mean, I don't make games in RPG Maker for commercial purposes. I mean, I used to, and I'm not insinuating that you shouldn't, but don't expect to sell 1 million units or get a merchandising deal at Fangamer, nor expect to make a product on the level as Cyberpunk 2077, which isn't that hard apparently, Witcher 3, Dragon Quest XI, or Skyrim.
Despite what I've said in this video, despite MZ's flaws, it is not a bad engine. Far from it. It's just I wish Katakawa did more with this engine to make it more unique, to make it its own product, and not just basically MV with extra steps. And do not purchase this as a replacement for MV. Use it as a complement with MV. MZ and MV, when both sets of assets are used together, I feel like makes for a more complete product. And should be used as such as things are considered, by using enemy graphics, parallax background, sound, maybe even certain NPC graphics, so long they don't look out of place because, you know, MV and MZ have different conflicting art styles. You know, just make sure to be careful of that. And I use this combination to produce both a Postmodern Nation and Crystal Gazers, both RPG Maker MZ products, MZ games, not products, that I've put onto GameJolt. Anyway, I hope this review was helpful, and hopefully not too many people, especially in the RPG Maker community, is triggered by this. Hopefully not, because this reiterates a rather flameful post I made over there. Oh no. Anyway, hope you have a good evening. See you. later.